Today's video will be an interesting one. It's not going to be about op amps, Bluetooth receivers or obscure sound cards. No, today we will talk about headsets. Headsets for a reasonable price. And what is a reasonable price? Well, about €100. Well, hello there and welcome back to another video here on Anton's Hardware. Now, gaming headsets have come a long way. Now, back in the days, nearly everyone had one of these, the Creative Fatal1ty Gaming Headset. Today, an ugly headset with poor audio quality, but keep in mind that this was already a leap forward from what we had before that. Luckily, today's headsets have improved considerably, at least nearly all of them except one. Now, for the most part, the audio they produce is reasonable at its worst and more than adequate to great for others. You can go crazy with headsets, and with that the price will also go crazy. So what do you get for a reasonable price, say up to €100? My test subjects today are what I bought for the last couple of months for that kind of money. And the contenders are: first up, the TOL Gaming Cage 1. Second, the Corsair HS80 RGB USB, the Logitech G Pro X, and the Sennheiser H6 Pro. And what are the tech specs of these headsets? To start off, here's an overview of the headsets. What does this all mean? TOL is one of those companies I like, but I never found any of their products to be any good. I disliked both their old and their new version of the more expensive gaming cage headsets. They are overpriced and mediocre performing headsets with a poor quality integrated digital to analog converter. But I had to give TOL another go. Now, this TOL was the cheapest headset of the test, but it still has some impressive statistics, like its supposed ability to go as low as 8 Hz and 20 kHz at the highest frequency. It's also the lightest headset of the test with just 280 grams. The driver or speakers are the smallest of the test with just 40mm. Now, this isn't a red flag or anything, but the general idea is that the bigger drivers can reach wider range frequencies than smaller drivers. I couldn't find the frequency response of the mic, but in nearly every mic that I've tested in the last couple of years, this was about 100 Hz to 10 kHz-ish. So my guess is that this is also the case here. One number that was a bit underwhelming was the sensitivity. This number again doesn't say everything, but it is a general indication of how good a headset is. 94 decibels sound pressure level, or SPL, per milliwatt isn't great. One last number is the impedance. The TOL has 32 ohms, and this is what nearly every other headset and headphones have, and this is the de facto industry standard. This headset is just a dumb headset, which means that you need to have an external sound card to drive this headset. Next up is Corsair. Now, I was a big fan of the HS70, but I hated the Virtuoso XT. And now we have the slightly bigger brother of the HS70, the HS80. It cost me €99. It has a frequency range of 20 Hz to a staggering 40 kHz, which is absolutely useless because you cannot hear anything beyond 20 kHz. It's like saying this TV shows color in infrared, but since the human eyes can't perceive any infrared, it's pointless. The impedance is also 32 ohms and has a 50mm driver, meaning that in theory at least, this headset can more easily produce audio. Somewhere where you can see this is the sensitivity. This is a nice 116 decibels sound pressure level per milliwatt. Something that I'm not too happy about is the fact that it is only USB. Okay, it supports USB 3, but still only USB. No auxiliary input. It is the most heavy headset on the list, weighing 373 grams. Next up is the Logitech G Pro X, which also cost me 99 euros. The frequency range is 20 Hz to 20 kHz. The sensitivity is somewhat of a disappointment, just 91.7 decibels sound pressure level per milliwatts. It does have a 50mm driver, which on paper should improve the audio quality. It has a weird 35 ohms impedance, a bit more than the industry standards, but not a real biggie. It does support both the auxiliary input and USB with a USB dongle. Now, I've tried to figure out what components the dongle uses, but besides breaking the dongle itself, I just couldn't find anything online. I mean, literally nothing. Now, if you can help me with that, please leave a comment. The mic is coupled with Blue Voice technology, which offers real-time noise suppression, compression and de-essing that should make your audio sound more full, clear and professional. Something that I must address because I absolutely hate it is the ability to use AI software that is called Embody Immerse. Now, before I go any further, this is just a fraud. It's absolutely nonsense and I would advise you not to do anything with it. Do not buy a license. It is rubbish. And it's only a way into you tricking to spend more money while doing absolutely nothing to improve the audio. It only adds generic echoes and reverbs to make it sound 3D-ish. And last but not least, the Sennheiser H6 Pro, starting with a frequency range of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, which is okay. It has the highest sensitivity rating of all 4 headsets with 117 decibels per SPL per milliwatt. And that is, at least on paper, will give the EPOS the best audio. It does this with a rather strange impedance of 28 ohms. It has a smaller driver of just 42mm and weighs 322 grams. Now, these numbers are a bit confusing to me as well, as they are non-standard. It is also a dumb headset, so you will need to have a sound card or DAC to operate it. Now, normally I don't do this since I think the only purpose of a mic on a headset is to transmit your voice to your mates as fast as possible. It's not for singing purposes or anything like that. So letting you guys hear the mic is somewhat of a nonsense to me. But I guess I'm wrong. I always get the question, what does the mic sound like? Well, here it is. And this is the TOL Gaming Cage 1. What do you think about the audio this mic produces? And this is the Corsair HS80 RGB USB. Is this any better or worse than the others? And this is the Logitech G Pro X. What do you think the audio this mic produces? And this is the audio that the EPOS H6 Pro produces. Do you like this audio? The Logitech software also has something called Blue Voice, which comes from the Yeti Blue, everything. Now, well, I've told you about it. But this is what happens, let's see, when you enable the Blue Voice microphone in the software. Some say it's better. I'm not too sure. Now it's up for you to decide which of these microphones is the best. I do not have any preferences, as I said before, because to me a microphone is just there to transmit my voice to my mates. They're not into it for my singing abilities or the soft and intricate tones of my voice. But it's not all audio that is important. For today's serious gamer, you also want to have a bit of comfort, especially for those longer gaming sessions. You don't want your ears and your skull to start hurting, so wearing comfort is very important. Build quality is important. A headset that is too fragile isn't what you want, as is one that's too heavy or has a flimsy mic boom. A good headset has to breathe quality. So let's go over the wearing comfort and the build quality of each of the contenders. Starting with the TOL. The ear cups are large enough to even fit my huge ears. There's a snug fit, and this is nice for longer gaming sessions. The acoustic isolations or passive noise cancellation is rather good as well, but after some time the pressure of the ear cups on your ears and skull will start to annoy. The build quality is basic, plasticky and feels cheap, but it's still sturdy. The ear cups also feel sturdy. The mic can be removed very easily, but the cable isn't removable. So overall, the wear and comfortable and the build quality is pretty okay-ish, just with no frills, just functionality. Next up is the Corsair. This headset has full velour earpads, which cannot be replaced. My ears can fit easily inside the ear cups. You can change the length of this band to adjust it to the size of your head. But my big head is a rather tight fit. The headset does tend to feel heavy, especially after lengthy gaming sessions. But for the average gaming session it's comfortable, agile, and I was wondering how fast it would go numb or fall over just by itself or even break. The overall build quality is quite okay-ish and the wearing comfort is also okay-ish. Nothing to complain about, but one cool thing that I want to add is that when you use this Corsair product, as with all Corsair products, it will be detected by the IQ software. Now, this is also where you can make changes into several settings. My setup has several Corsair products and I've set this up to in such a way that the colors will go from green to red whenever the temperature of my CPU gets too high. Third on the list is the Logitech G Pro X. The earpads are made of pleather, but Logitech is the only company nice enough to also include velour pads. If you can change them and hear the impact it has on the audio. The mic boom can be removed if you want to. This will make the Logitech headset a Logitech headphone that you can use on the go. The headband is also made of pleather with some nice stitching. It's very comfortable to wear and the construction feels very solid. It says it's made completely of aluminium. Design is a bit 70-ish, but I think it's cool. The volume and the mic controls are integrated in the cable, which is also old school, but still very effective. Like the Corsair, Logitech also has that software platform where you can set different settings to your liking. And last but not least is the TOL H6 Pro. This one also has velour earpads and cannot be replaced. The mic boom can be easily removed rather cleverly with a magnetic system. After removing the mic boom, you can insert a plastic plate to completely remove any indication that a mic boom can be used. The headband itself is really comfortable and fits my big head with ease. Even after a longer gaming session, this headset just feels great. And now for my listening sessions. Now, testing is a bit difficult since two of the headsets are dumb and thus need an external digital analog converter. One headset, the Logitech, has an external digital to analog converter, but you may also choose to use a separate digital to analog converter of your liking. Since onboard decks aren't the best quality ever, I wanted to use a deck with just good quality. Not the best, just enough, something that you might use at home. For that reason, I used the GSX300. For just €55 you get a decent digital to analog converter, analog to digital converter that uses a Connextent chip. Certainly not the best out there, but still quite good, certainly for that price. So how do these headsets sound? First is the TOL. The soundstage while listening to music is very thin. It's as if all instruments come from one side. The bass is nice, but it doesn't go that deep, especially not the 8 Hz that they said. Something, well, probably gamers will appreciate. It struggles when a lot of audio sources are present because the audio source becomes a blob of sound. Thinking that the TOL GSX300 is the culprit, I switched to the Burson Playmate 2, but the audio just keeps on sucking. When gaming, it isn't any better. It sounds cheap, plasticky, and I just don't like it. Next up is the Corsair. Now, I was a bit sad to use the HS80. The audio produced is flat, uninspiring. It's just dull. It's like a teenager that doesn't want to get out of bed in the morning. It was as if the headset was still in a cardboard box when using it. The soundstage was okayish at best, but the bass was terrible, as were the highs. You could hear the headset struggling to perform. The headset was a bit better when gaming than with music, but both of them were just a disappointing experience. Next up is the Logitech. Music with the standard Logitech digital to analog converter is horrible. The deck is in no way equipped for music, but it's okay, it's for gaming. When switching to the EPOS GSX300, the audio is excellent. I mean, really good. I really enjoyed it. It was way better than I was expecting. The soundstage was very wide. It has a good proper bass while producing precise highs. It's just everything that I want. When switching back to the Logitech deck for gaming, the audio was better than music. The bass was still missing, but the soundstage was a bit better. Just for laughs, I tried the external deck with the Embody Immerse enabled. Well, this almost made me sick. As many of you know, I don't like these audio enhancements, but this is probably one of the worst implementations, and you even need to pay extra for it. Why would anyone want this? When switching back to the GSX300, the audio is warm, comfortable, and very precise. I was amazed by its quality. And then the EPOS. Now, even though this is a dumb headset, this doesn't mean it's bad. The EPOS produces rich audio that is luscious in every way. It is warm, has a nice, wide and still precise soundstage. It is accurate in audio reproduction. It's comfortable in every way. It's a true pleasure to listen to. It's as if your ears are placed in a warm, comfortable bed with a beautiful woman, and the audio was just perfectly produced to your ears. I just love the EPOS. And now for my conclusion. Let's go over all the headsets one by one, but now starting with the worst and ending with the best. Now, I had a strange love-hate relationship with TOL. On the one hand, I'm drawn to their products. I love the aesthetics. I wanted to love TOL. But on the other hand, up until now, I didn't like any of their products. I've tested both the old gaming cage and the new version, but the audio they produce is just horrible. I didn't like their ergonomics either, so I was a bit apprehensive about the gaming one, and sadly this TOL headset didn't convince me either. The audio sounded muffled and unfinished, while the soundstage is very narrow. The €55 is a good thing, as €95 is still way too much, and even €55 is still too expensive. Any price is just a waste of money for this headset. In my opinion, TOL isn't capable of creating a good gaming headset, and I would advise anyone not to buy any gaming headsets from TOL. Second on my worst to best list is Corsair. Now, as with the TOL, I just wanted to love the Corsair, just like I love the HS80. But the sad point is that I just didn't. I kinda like the wear and comfort, and the fact that it fits in my Corsair IQ system, so I can get a nice overview of all my other Corsair products, but that's all. The audio production was poor, even at the highest settings. It was just dull and uninspiring. Now, if you're a Corsair fanboy, this may be cool, otherwise steer clear of it. Next is Logitech. Now, at first I didn't think much about it. On the one hand, I see Logitech as the McDonald's of computer products, mass-produced, uninspiring, one flavor that fits all, and thus producing average products. But I was wrong with this headset. When not using the digital to analog converter, the Logitech Pro X is a treat to listen to. It looks cool, it's comfortable to wear and easy to use. It's well worth the money and I can easily recommend it to everyone. Even spending on the pointless DAC and the embody immerse nonsense, this is a really good versatile headset. And last but not least, you've already guessed it, it's the TOL H6 Pro, by far the best headset of all 4 I tested. The audio was up there with the best headsets that I've ever heard. It also looks cool and is very comfortable to wear. The mic boom feels solid and isn't as flimsy as the other 3. Now if you're looking for a really good headset for a reasonable price, the TOL H6 Pro is the one to buy. And with this ending, I would like to thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. And I'd like to see you in the next one. See you then, bye bye!